All right, guys. It's hard to win. It's hard to win, and certainly we had to grind that one out. We all know the issues. The red zone forced to kick 5 field goals down there tonight. But I would tell you, hats off to Trey Smack. To step up and hit all 5 of those, and certainly defensively, right around 200 yards. Really gave up one possession with a couple big plays, but complimentary football and. We moved the ball up and down the field. We got to have better red zone production, right? So I think when we look back at that, it's going to be very technical. Game in general, I think there'll be things that are very correctable just based off of what I observed out there, whether it's a missed block or, getting beat in pass protection or, I think it was all very correctable. But, man, there's a lot of good. I mean, we had almost 89,000 in there tonight, and to have that 2 weeks in a row to sell it out. Every time they turn the lights off out there in the fourth quarter, it's a pretty special moment. So I'm proud of our team. Half the teams in college football today lost, okay, and the Gators won. Okay, now are we happy with everything that happened out there? No. There's going to be lots of things that we can improve at, but I think we see a lot of bright spots. There's a lot of guys that are playing good football. We had guys make their first start today for the Gators, a couple guys, and we had a lot of young players that were very productive. So the disappointing thing about games like this are these are the ones where maybe the average fan anticipates it getting out of control, and a lot of our young players didn't have an opportunity to play because we didn't get it under control, right? So but I'm proud of our team, the character of our team. We stayed into it. We continued to fight. I didn't see any lack of effort out there. I think it's all going to be very technical and very correctable. So what do we got here? I know we got questions.
Billy, multiple instances where it appeared you guys were undermanned on returns and special teams. You guys also had multiple penalties there. Could you just speak to, I guess, the trend that you've seen
penalties
earlier in the game?
What were they?
First 2, holding, and then a legal block in the back.
Right. So the legal block in the back, Jaden Robinson, okay, I think is be up for debate, And I do think in the return game on occasion, when you're competitive, those things are going to happen. There's very rarely an NFL return that doesn't have a penalty, okay? But much like I just said earlier, right, there's going to be technical things that we can improve at, right? And we did. We had a block in the back and a holding penalty, and those are individual mistakes, and they're all going to be technique-based, decision-making based. But I was, we're close, and I think it's been a point of emphasis in the return game. It was good to see some production in that area. And I do think that Jaden Robinson, I'll be interested to see when we watch it a little bit closer, whether it was a blocking back or not. I'll let you know Monday.
Sorry, following up on that, what about the 10 men on the field for it was a field goal and field goal block and a punt return?
Not field goal. We didn't have 10 out there for field goal. We had 10 out there. We didn't get the returner on right there in the middle of the field. And ultimately, because of the sack, okay, that's where the miscue was made, right? And we're okay with that. I'm okay with the returner not being on the field in that situation. It's 4th down and a mile. And look, it's out there where we think we're going to be in field goal range, and then all of a sudden the punter's out there. So we're aware of that, and very unique situation in the game, and we're okay with that.
The red zone and the short yardage, was that something you saw during the week? Because you were talking about during the week in practice, particularly being sloppy and so forth at times.
No, I don't think that. I think that's going to be very obvious. Whether a guy missed a block or a guy, missed an open receiver or whatever the case may be. Look, they stopped us in the red area tonight multiple times, okay? But I think I'll be able to give you a little bit more of a report. I feel like I know what happened, and I think it's all easy to fix.
And Micah didn't play in the second half?
Yeah, Micah, obviously Micah was suspended for the first half, and then a little bit of in-house there in that regard for the second half.
Another efficient night from Graham. Got knocked around a bit, though.
Yeah, I've got to keep them cleaner. I mean, that's one of the things that was disappointing. But listen, I'm going to tell you, we talked about it during the week. They got some guys on their side. Some of those edge cats were top 100 players in the country, you know, so Alabama, Michigan, you know, so that was the big challenge in the game was the edge players and certainly playing without a starting tackle in the beginning, the first half. And they proved to be effective players. They were issues in the pass game and the run game.
So the red zone, 3 times inside the 10, you guys had to settle for field goals, and one of them was a 4th and 1. And you've, you know, last year I think you guys were 3rd in the SEC in 4th downs and going for it. And
Yeah, the analytics.
why didn't you go for that?
The analytics said
Okay.
it's not a go, even though it's 1-15 at that point in the game. You know, makes it a 2-touchdown game. So you want to go for. There's 2:40 left in the game at that point. 15 helps you a lot more than 12. If you don't get it, you're 12, and they got the ball. So ultimately, the analytics say don't go for it right there.
But is Zach in the back?
As much as I wanted to.
No, I was surprised.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was a test of do you really believe in the analytics or not? Great question. Yeah, no, Arliss is, you know, we had a handful of players that made their first start, Arliss being one of those, and he played well in the game. You know, he made some plays, touchdown, big play late. You know, we think he can be a mismatch player. You know, the guy was a unique receiver, linebacker in high school. He's really developing nicely. I thought he had a best week of practice that he's had. You know, Odom was a little bit banged up. You know, we decided to sit him. And Arliss stepped up and played really well in the game. So I'm proud of Arliss. I think he's got a bright future in front of him. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the net was on that punt, but we definitely blocked one. Nobody asked about that. But, you know, we're close on a punt return tonight. We blocked the punt. We made 5 field goals. We kicked a bunch of touchbacks. Crawshaw was outstanding in the game. And we played good on defense, right? I mean, we're sitting here, you know, a little bit disappointed because of red zone issues and a couple sloppy turnovers in the game. And trust me, nobody's more pissed about that than I am. So, no, I think Wingo is one of the more impressive young men that we have in our program. And he practices with effort. He plays with effort. I mean, this is a guy who missed the offseason with the shoulder surgery. And he's played a critical role in some of our 3rd down success. He's a great communicator. And he plays a lot on all of our special teams. So Wingo is what you want a University of Florida football player to be. Right? He is a class act. And it's good to see a guy like that who does things the right way consistently have some success.
Ricky Pearsall's one-handed catch. I mean, about as
Wow.
good as I've seen.
Yeah.
What was your vantage point of that? And then, secondly, 22-7, like you said, not the greatest, but can that be maybe a good thing going on the road at Kentucky
Yeah.
to have to play with a little edge coming off? You know, even better than 77 to, you know, whatever.
No, I think you're spot on. How about that catch, huh? You know, we're running 4 verts, you know, and the safety's tilted to Ricky. I think he's getting ready to rip the field seam in there to Caleb, and then he throws a 2-ball, and I don't know, that one will be. I mean, Ricky Pearsall, I'm telling y'all right now, this guy's a very underrated player. He is one of the best receivers in the entire country. He's bigger than you think. He's more explosive than you think. Came back to improve his, you know, stock for the draft, and he's doing it, right? Not to mention the leadership and the character that he brings every day, the work habits. So Ricky is a very effective player because he's highly skilled. Okay, he can get open at the line. He can separate at the top of the route. And he's got fantastic ball skills and hand selection. So, yeah, I I think that was one for the books right there, for sure. Yeah, I think so. You know, I'm trying to help our young guys in there, you know, sort through all this. You know, but I do think that this group kind of thrives off the hate, if that makes sense, you know. So there'll be some things that come with keeping this one a little too close. And I think that ultimately there'll be some things that we can learn from this game, right? We talk about red zone touchdowns all the time. You know, we want to be 70% touchdowns in the red area. We want to be 100% red zone scoring. And it was a factor, you know, and I think if you add 20 to that score, you know, I'm probably already taking a shower right now. Y'all would have much less questions, okay? So we moved the ball really effectively. We got to score touchdowns when we get it down there.
Last thing for the coach, France, and then we'll finish with you. Only 1 for 9 tonight and on third downs. That was a problem last week in the second half and carried over, it seemed, this week.
Yeah, I think, I think the turnovers, you know, and look, we played some of those were 2-down approaches, right? And I think that affected a little bit. But, yeah, there's no question. I mean, ultimately, they're in the red area, right? So, got to get it better. There's no doubt. That's one of the stats that is going to stand out.
And center down to right tackle, all young guys, newbies, basically.
Yeah, no, Jake is out there. Najee Lindell made his first start. Najee made his first start. I mean, you got some guys out there. But, I mean, it's healthy, right? I think it's good for them. It's good for our team. We had other players playing. You know, you talked about Arliss earlier. Hanson's out there as a rookie. You know, Andy Jean played a lot of snaps tonight, did a nice job in the game. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely, we'll benefit from some of that experience, you know, whether it was because of injury or suspension. That'll be a positive for us.
We'll finish with Jacob. I was wondering if you had an update on Kamari Wilson. We didn't see him before the game and then was only briefly on the sideline.
Yeah, Kamari Wilson didn't make the travel roster this week, right? So we can take 80 to the hotel, and Kamari wasn't on that list, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. What else we got? All right, guys. Thank you all.
How you guys doing?
Shamar, this defense's performance to start the season, just what do you think has gone into this, and what has allowed you guys to be so successful so far?
I'll say effort and just teamwork. And I'll say just the physicality up front and in our back seven.
You and Scooby are forming a pretty good little tandem there. How's that going, do you think?
It's going amazing. We're always on the same page. It's like he always know what I'm doing. I always know what he's doing. So that allows us to play faster.
How's he evolved as a linebacker? He came as an edge guy. Billy kind of explained he went from kind of seeing the game with one eye to like having to see it all. What's the different? What have you noticed in his kind of evolution?
I would say him just being more comfortable in the defense. When you know it, you play faster. So I say just not him second guessing himself, sort of like what he did last year.
Would you talk about your defense every ball game? You've been keeping people out of the end zone, making big plays on third downs, et cetera. Talk about the mentality that goes into when the other team gets third down on you now.
Oh, yes, sir. Like Coach Armstrong say, it's a privilege to play on third downs. So, you know, when we come in our package, the third down package, you know, you guys out there that want to get the quarterback and get that stop on third down.
That's kind of an improvement over last year, isn't it?
Yes, sir, most definitely.
You guys had to come in preparing for two quarterbacks, and then they kind of rode with Jalen Jones. Kind of the adjustment for that. He did scramble a little bit, but how you guys managed to kind of corral and contain him and keep him from being a major factor in the game?
Just, you know, because he likes to use his legs a lot, so kind of just limiting him to do that, make him throw in the pocket, and we kind of came out successful while doing that.
And 3 sacks, too. Just what was the pressure like tonight? You had one of them.
Yes, sir. You know, Coach Armstrong, he's a big pressure guy. He want to get to the quarterback and hit him, so that's what we did tonight.
That forced fumble you guys that Scooby had on the first drive of the game. You know, obviously they ended up Charlotte recovered, but I think that sort of set the tempo for the defense. You know, making a play like that on the first drive of the game.
Most definitely, it gave us that spark, you know, to start the game, and we kind of rolled with that throughout the whole entire game.
You guys were favored by 4 touchdowns, and it was a closer game than some might have expected. How do you kind of build off of this? Because now you go into pure SEC play for like 2 months here.
Yes, sir. Like you said, just building off of it, getting back to the film room tomorrow, correcting our mistakes, and just getting better for Kentucky next week.
In terms of momentum, though, do you feel after such an emotional win last week, do you feel like maybe this was kind of to be expected a little bit?
Not at all. You know, Coach Armstrong, Coach Napier always say don't play down to the competition, raise the standard, you know, set the Gator standard for any game we play a faceless opponent. So that's what we try to do tonight. But unfortunately, you know, we came out with the W, but, you know, it was kind of a little bit sloppy.
Shamar, just talk about those guys in front of you on the defensive line and how easier they make your job.
Oh, so easy. Cam Jackson, Caleb Banks, Chris McCullen. Like some big guys you don't see every day walking around. So they made me and Scooby's jobs a lot easier, you know, playing behind them and allowing us to run free to the ball.
Yeah, just what do you think of Ricky's catch? You were able to see it?
I did. It was amazing. He does that almost like every day. So I was kind of used to it. Like Ricky did it.
What's his impact on this team, just from like a leadership standpoint, and also what he brings on the field?
Like you said, a great leader on and off the field. You know, it's always amazing to get a leader that can also play good ball.
He does that every day? That catch? Like something along those lines?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Shamar, when you see Coach Armstrong on the sideline and his personality, is it just kind of bleeding over to you guys?
Most definitely. He said smile, like just smile sometimes. You know, we're playing in the swamp. It's a blessing to play in the swamp. Now, you know, he kind of told us, like, we always had our game face on. He was like, smile. Like, he hit me, like, why you not smiling? You know, that kind of cracked me up, so.
All right, anyone else for Shamar? All right, thank you, Shamar.
Thank you, guys. You know, Wingo, he's a great player, a great teammate, great linebacker to play next to, and, you know, that's just Wingo being Wingo.
Any thoughts on Kentucky? I was trying to push you kind of toward ahead on the SEC. Any thoughts on the Kentucky game? What you guys are gonna have to bring? I mean, it's your first SEC road game.
it's a SEC game. You know, we got to bring it 110% every single game, especially a SEC game. But we'll look at Kentucky tomorrow and Monday. But right now we're just kind of, you know, celebrating our win against Charlotte.
All right, thanks, Shamar.
All right, thank you, guys.
Is on? All right.
I mean, 5 for 5 is just the performance and how did it feel, but also I guess what was the week like for you? Just were you expecting to be the place kicker this whole week, or just how'd it go? I guess.
No, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I think that the preparation came the same. As I said back in fall camp, I think Adam and I are both back and forth at each other, and I think I was pretty fortunate to come out on top. Adam's a great kicker. I love him to death. We were battling back and forth in practice all week, but yeah, it's a good feeling to go 5 for 5. But I think Adam could have done the same thing too.
You know, most of I think 4 of the 5 were within like 36 yards, but then you have the 54-yarder. When you're coming onto the field, kind of what's going through your head with that? You know, again, your first game really is like a full starter. You know, in the swamp. Are you nervous at all before a kick of that length, or do you feel pretty confident in your own ability?
I would lie and say I wasn't nervous because, I mean, obviously I was getting nervous. It's a good nervous. It's like I'm excited it's like an excited nervous. And I was more excited than I was like doubtful nervous. So it was good. And I trusted my operation. Rocco did a really good job of snapping the ball back there. And Jeremy did a great job of putting it and placing it the right way with laces. And the operation was just really clean. And I got to give credit to them.
After a performance like this, how much do you expect your phone to be blowing up, you know, throughout the week?
Not sure. Probably just gonna call my mom and just, you know, call my mom or dad. Probably not gonna try to look at it too much.
There was a timeout, I remember, before the 54-yarder. I mean, did you kind of talk Coach Napier into it, or was there any kind of discussion or on the sidelines as to whether, you know, you had that kind of range and so forth, or how did that kind of go?
Napier, I don't think I talked to Napier. I was kind of just locked in. I kind of think we knew we were going to kick it, and I really thank Napier for having all the trust in me to go out there and make that 54-yarder. So it was good.
What would you say your range is? 54 yards. That looked like it could have been good for another 3 or 4 out. What would you say your range is?
I'm not sure. I think anywhere inside of probably just 60, maybe. I don't know how far that was. That was probably the cleanest ball I've ever struck. So it felt really good.
What's the longest one you've ever hit in practice?
In practice, I think like just messing around or off sticks or with an actual like. My longest was 67.
First off, Trey, great game. We were talking before the game, and we said, what's going to happen? I looked these guys in the eyes and said, Trace Mack's going off. It was the first thing that came out of my mouth.
Appreciate it.
You know, you're kicking today, and it may feel like the Gators fans were helping you a little bit, maybe quieting down whenever you're taking some of them. How do you feel going into a hostile Kentucky environment next week? Maybe they're going to get real loud whenever you're taking a kick. Is that something that affects you mentally at all?
I wouldn't say so. I would say I'm kind of just already locked in at the holder and the kick. I don't really notice, even if it is loud. It doesn't really bother me. So. Mm-hmm. Man, my leg is really sore right now. I said it was 8 kickoffs, or not, 8 field goals equals 1 kickoff. And so I think I had 7 kickoffs, including warm-ups too. Yeah, my leg's not doing so great right now. That last kickoff. I mean, I was lucky we got in the end zone. So. I have all confidence in both, in all the special teams that guys we have. Jacob Watkins, Gannon Burt, Rocco Underwood, Jeremy Crawshaw, and Adam, and even Ara emerged. I don't even know how to say his last name. Sorry, Ara. I do have confidence in all of them. I think that we have a group of guys that are equally as talented, and it's really hard competition between all of us, which makes us better. So that's, yeah, I think we're a really talented special teams unit.
All right. Thank you, Trey.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Ooh, that's a good picture. Ooh, I haven't seen that one yet. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like that one. I haven't checked it yet, so.
So, Ricky, we'll start out, obviously, the catch, just talk about it.
Yeah, man. To be honest, in practice with Coach G, we practiced that actually. We practiced a bunch of scenarios of catches, and we actually ended up practicing that one. So, I wanted to shout him out and then also shout the equipment staff out for the gloves. So,
When Shamar was here a few minutes ago, he was saying I think you said that you've done that a lot in practice. Can you confirm or deny that?
I like to say that happens a lot in practice, but it's a pretty good catch though. So, when the opportunity comes, I come down with it in any way possible. So.
Not only that, you took the hit. Talk about that. Pretty
Yeah.
good hit too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that just comes with being a receiver, to be honest. Sometimes you're going to be put in a situation where you got to take a hit, but you got to sacrifice your body. So that's what happened.
I mean, overall, 6 catches for over 100 yards, 104 yards. I mean, did you guys notice a mismatch or something that you could attack right away in terms of, your ability to get open, particularly early in the game? I think you had like 5 right off the bat.
Yeah, I think, man, I'm not going to lie, I think I'm a mismatch for any DB, to be honest. But, that's just the mentality I got to have as a receiver. So I'm going to say that.
I mean, Graham's efficiency remains pretty ridiculous. I mean, 20 or 23 today. What's he been doing this season? I mean, it's like he came here with the reputation of being a little erratic. We haven't seen much of that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that guy loves football. That's a simple answer right there. He loves football. He's always in the building. He's always studying. He's always asking questions. He's just one of those guys that really wants it that bad. And, you could tell. And then hard work pays off, obviously, what he's been doing on the field.
And just the kind of ball he throws.
Oh, yeah. It's a very catchable ball. He's got arm talent as well. So, that's going for him as well. So.
And last one, pretty tough guy. All quarterbacks tend to be. But what are you seeing there? I mean, he got killed on that one play. I mean, the other guy was like hurt more than he was. That hit him.
Yeah, and he's a selfless guy. He's got that dog mentality. He's gonna get up after every hit. I see him take a shot. I have faith that he's gonna get up and play. That's just kind of the guy that Graham is, to be honest.
Some of the red zone issues. I mean, you guys start out, you have a great first drive, and then second drive you have to settle for a field goal, and then again. And so, was that a little frustrating or deflating given the start that you guys got off of?
Yeah, it was frustrating, but that's football, man. At the end of the day, we got to go out there and execute our plays, no matter what's being called, and that's our job. We got to go out there and handle that. So we're gonna group together and look at all the things that we did bad and all the things that we did good, and moving forward, obviously fix those mistakes. Oh no, you good?
Hey, Ricky, some of the younger guys were able to get a little bit more snaps tonight. Arliss with that receiving touchdown, Andy with the deep catch, and then the run on the trick play. How do you feel like those guys performed today?
I'm proud of all the young guys. Just to be able to go in there in that stadium, and step up like that. And we had a lot of guys down this week, so, being able to have that next man up mentality is super important. And those guys, embrace it through practice. They work their tails off, so I'm just really proud of them.
Ricky, Ricky, right over here.
Yeah,
Over here. Hi. Question about that catch and the return. I mean, it just looked so reactionary at that point. Was the ball just a little too high, and that's how you had to react to that, or how do you remember that?
Yeah, I felt like I could have probably jumped up and grabbed it with 2, but I don't know what happened. But I just felt like doing it. I don't know how to describe it. In the moment, I just felt like doing it, so I just did. And good thing it came down with it. So
Sure. And secondly, what was it that Charlotte was doing that, maybe, everybody could say, well, we shot ourselves in the foot all the time we got down in the red zone. But, I mean, were they doing something a little differently than, say, maybe what Tennessee did last week or even the week before against McNeese? What were they doing that was just maybe disrupting things for you?
Yeah, first and foremost, I just want to say, they're a really well-coached team over there. They got some talented guys over there as well. But I think it comes down to, just executing on our own side of the ball and eliminating mistakes. And, I think it's just all on us at the end of the day.
Ricky, not to ask you another question about your catch, but just, obviously you got a little bit of a break when they were reviewing for targeting, but is it hard at all, because you guys thought a drive to finish there, is it hard at all, to kind of continue the drive and not think about, like, what the what, excuse my language, what the bleep did I just, did I just do?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to score. To be honest, I just wanted to score. I actually just wanted them to throw it up again and do it again. So, but we were just trying to get in the paint.
I know. Despite getting the win, is there a sense here? I know that so much of the conversation was about things that the team could have done better. Is there a little bit of a motivation here from maybe some of the plays you guys left out on the field, some of the stuff you still have to get cleaned up for this
Oh yeah,
team?
for sure. I think we emphasized that throughout the week. Was like, okay, we beat a team like Tennessee, who's really good. We're gonna have a lot of excitement, and I think we just gotta be able to handle that better throughout practice. And always have that chip on our shoulder. No matter what, we got to be 1-0 each week. So I think we got to do a better job of that.
Would you say that this was a bad or below average practice week?
Yeah, I think it was at times, but I still think we did a lot of good things throughout practice. But football is a game of execution, so we got to execute better.
The SEC road, just what challenges does that pose? I mean, you guys have 7 straight SEC games now in 8 weeks.
Yeah, man. I mean, the SEC is probably the best conference in the country. It's going to be a challenge regardless, but we got to take it day by day, make sure we're doing our jobs on a daily basis. Game plan for a team like Kentucky, who's really well coached as well. Got a lot of talented players over there too. So just take it day by day.
What do you remember from them last year?
That they're a tough team, and then obviously we didn't come out with the win. So I mean that stuck with me the most. So going into next week, we got to have a lot of motivation to go out there, and get the dub this time.
Physical team. I mean, what kind of is their signature, you think?
Yeah, they're a physical team. I think last year, looking back at the tape, though, I think we go back to shooting ourselves in the foot. I think that's really what it came down to. So we just got to make sure that we don't do that and execute.
Just Billy had mentioned that this was kind of an opportunity for you to prove yourself and just your worth as a pro receiver and just kind of in general. Just how much do you feel like you've been able to capitalize on the opportunity to come back to school and show what you're capable of?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. There's a lot of games left, so I just got to keep doing it. Got to keep having that chip on my shoulder and going into practice and grinding every single day and getting better at something each and every day. So I think, that's my main focus right now, not necessarily, what I'm doing or what's going on in the future. Just at the present moment, what can I do now that's going to benefit me moving forward.
Do you reflect on the first 4 games and go, okay, this is validating the decision to go back to school at least?
Yeah, no, I reflect on those games in more of like learning standpoint. I'm like, okay, I could have done this and that better. Sometimes numbers and things like that, may look better than they are. But I'm my biggest critic, So when I look at the tape, I'm like, okay, I could have done this better, or maybe I could have made a move right here, and this could have been a touchdown. So just keep doing that, and I feel like that works for me, and improving. So.
Best catch of your career.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tonight?
Oh yeah, for sure. Mhm. The last one's gonna go to in game at least in game. I actually haven't checked my phone yet, but some of my teammates come up to me and saying, "Oh, good catch, good catch." I was just glad we got the win. So. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys.